more questions before I open it up to the floor. They're both, you know, career related. The first one is, I'm most intrigued if I'm going to join a company and, you know, we're in the midst of the worst economic downturn ever, that the company is going to be able to pay my wages and, you know, it's progressing. So it's a two-way thing. Where is CIC going?
Okay. First thing first, in the height of all these COVID-19s and all these oil price plunge, we went out to all our family member that we are not in the quest of cutting workforce. Okay, yes, times are bad. We stick together as one family. Okay, but having said that, we're gonna need to understand each other needs and compromise, you know, to some extent. Like for example, cut down the unnecessary wastage in terms of stationery, in terms of, you know, overtimes and whatever. A lot of people would just kind of like, you know, for some reason they needed the money. In the good time is fine because there's plenty of projects and whatever things, but in the bad times everything gets squeezed. People are, you know, we ask people for the understanding that we're going to trim down, but we're not throwing you out. That's for sure. You still have job security. Now, in that sense, we also created, remember I talked about the industrial solution as another key driver to our growth. It's a prequel of the waste management services. Now, all this while, we realized that by just receiving waste from others, we don't know what they do outside in the field, what kind of chemical, what kind of cocktail they mix, right?
They call them cocktail.
Yeah, cocktail. So as a result, when it kind of like comes to our yard, as assuming that we accept it, it will be the most expensive waste you ever treated or disposed because of the complexity. Now, something that we pride ourselves is the ability to understand, okay, when the waste come, we know exactly what are the components of all these waste so that we can actually do a lot of reverse engineering or extract the residue value of that waste. Okay, that's what we do. Now, if let's say we were to grow, rather than wait for others, you know, to generate the waste and let you treat, you might as well go up front and then sort of help them, because this is actually mandatory and is actually required under the on system audit, even under regulations, etc. They need cleaning, they need people to service it. Why can't be us? In the era, I talked to Simon earlier, in the era of COVID-19, this is particularly a blessing in disguise, because a lot of so-called companies, a Bruneian company, but in registration, but what they do is they subcontract it to, you know, like other so-called international or regional companies, where the money is literally outflow instead of like kept within Brunei financial economic systems, right? So while this is actually a crisis, it stopped everybody from going in or out. This becomes a golden opportunity for us to grow, to step up and say to the regulator, to the customer, and say, look, we have all you need here. We can actually help you to support, help to service you, help to support you with our local talent. Okay, these are something that has been sounding and is actually working pretty well for us.
This is amazing. Yeah. Turning crisis into opportunity.
We always believe there's always silver linings within crisis. So this has proven to be, you know, another time and another time. But you got to understand the fundamental about the oil and gas industry. What is the phase that they are at right now? Okay, like for example, the oil and gas company in the crisis like this, what are the strategies that they use? In fact, I don't have to be too clever. I've seen, like from history, it tends to repeat itself. Now they are actually very, very big on productions. Most of the drilling, explorations and all that sort of thing, it's kind of like slowing down a lot because is
no one's flying.
huh?
No one's flying.
Yeah, and it's very expensive to do that. Production is something that you can do, and then also remember that Brunei is actually thrive on a lot of future contracts. So one is actually to fulfill your obligation by being able to supply seamlessly to the customer. Second is by the times when the future contract is up for negotiation, guess who has a better bargaining power? The person without the company without the stock, or the person with the stock. So hence a lot of all these activities within the oil and gas industry is very obvious, but you got to understand the fundamental of that economy, if you like.
Sorry, I am a total outsider. So I'd like to ask, what is the answer, with or without the stock?
With the stock.
Okay.
you otherwise people will kind of take your words as half-back kind of things, and whether or not you have that kind of stock at the time when the contract is due, that is still questionable.
Right. So Daniel, what if I'm hearing it correctly? The future is bright for CIC, and if I'm betting, I'd like to apply for your job here. Are you all hiring in the next 2 years?
I believe there will be many jobs that will be created. I have a figure in mind, but that figure is at the moment is still subject to both the opportunity as well as the regulator.
Right.
Of course, the more the merrier. But in terms of the different type of jobs is spanned from different type of engineering to safety to business, you name it, they are there. Whether it's proper graduates or technicians or HND level is all that.